Blackhawks, number 1, written by Mike Costa, art by Graham Nolan. I didn't know anything about Blackhawks before going into this book, and to be fair, I still don't know anything about Blackhawks coming out. But hey, it's thing. So I guess right off the bat, let me just list off the team members. We have the Irishman, Kunoichi, Attila, Wildman, Canada, and Lincoln. That's the team. Whatever mental images you have, sure, go with that. Because unless it becomes relevant later. The Irishman has red hair, but he's actually from Ukraine. That's a point to make later on. Anyway, so there's this covert op going on in Kazakhstan. An unknown group stormed a local airport, seized it, took hostages, and the Blackhawks are a UN military branch for covert operations. So they were brought in to try to help with this. And immediately it is not covert. There's this little single-seater jet plane thing that's going wild. Dude has a bomb strapped to his chest. They're just flying around this airport shooting people willy-nilly. It's nuts. Kunoichi is kind of our character we're following more during this issue. She's in the plane along with, I think, one of the people who took people hostages and then one of the hostages with a bomb on his chest. They're all trying to figure out how they can help each other, help Kunoichi land the plane without it crashing and killing everybody. They drop the hostage into a baggage cart. He manages to survive, but Attila is injured due to it. Some of the people come up, the people who are taking hostages come up and they're like, "You're severely injured. You're clearly outmatched. I have x-ray goggles and they can see that you have a fractured arm." And then Attila punches him in the face and says, "Should have been looking at the other arm." So the hostage is safe. The airplane, they're trying to hack into it to get some control back. No dice, so she has to crash it. She dives out over some water. They say how, you hit the water at that speed, it's going to feel like concrete. So she shoots it to break the surface tension and then dives in. Everything's nice and safe. They make a quick escape on a chopper that, despite being covert, has their logo printed on the side of it, which seems a little bit stupid, especially because someone gets a picture of it on their phone. Anyway, cut to a couple days later, I guess. They're at their base, I suppose, called the Erie. It's up high, but it's in the mountains, and it's totally covert, and nobody knows it's there. And a UN diplomat comes in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to talk to you guys, and also for you to give me explanation as to who you are." And they go through, and they have all these toys and all these planes, and the guy from the UN's like, "There's no way this is in our budget." And then they explain a couple of the members. Irishman, he tells him about how he's in the Ukraine. Canada, some funny story about a bar in Calgary. We get Attila. His arm was injured, so he's off of active roster. Kunoichi, despite the fact she was injured diving off that plane, she refuses to be taken off active roster, so she's not bothering getting checked out. One guy, he was working as the dude behind the computers, whose name was Wildman. Him and Kunoichi apparently have a secret thing. So they're making out, and she's like, I feel really buzzed. I feel really in the mood. Let's go. And then you see that despite being just a normal person as far as we're aware, she's managed to leave a hand imprint in solid concrete. So there's that. Get back to the diplomat thing. We find that the dude in charge of the Blackhawks, dude also on the cover, is Andrew Lincoln, a.k.a. Lincoln. And he's just too cool for school. White hair, awesome specs. He's whatever. So anyway, they're just giving the diplomat a hard time about you could have tiny little nanites inside of you that are taking control of your body without you even knowing, and we just have to be careful because we're on the cutting edge of technology, despite the fact that we're so covert. And he's like, well, funny thing about being covert, your picture is online, and that's a big problem. Cut to some completely separate thing. It's a cell block D, which we're introduced to some villain who did something. He was running guns, and he's taken in, and he's immediately mentally contacted by this woman who I don't think she has a name. At one point, she's referred to as mother, but whatever. They call them not nanites, but nanocytes. She puts some nanocytes inside of this dude, and he's like, how are you talking to me? He's like, oh, there's robots in your body, but anyway, I'm going to help you escape. Or, sorry, her exact wording is, the guy asks, will they help free me? And she says something like that, and then commands the nanites to set him free, thus causing him to explode, and I'm assuming free somebody else. But we don't get to that part. Cut back to Kunoichi and Wildman are in bed, post-coital. She's still, like, really wired, despite the fact she's been up for 50 hours. And he's, like, trying to talk about their relationship being a secret. But she's literally, like, smoldering. Like, there is steam coming off of her. But she kicks him out of the bedroom. She thinks about the mission. At one point in the mission, she got bit by a person. And she's like, uh-oh. They mentioned on an earlier page that's how nanites get into your body. So she does a quick scan on herself, and she sees that she is infected with some form of nanocyte that's giving her some weird superhuman ability. And that's where the issue ends. It's fine. It's good. Episode 1, I really praised Man of War, and I didn't think, I was that much into war comics. This one, it doesn't feel like a war comic. This one feels much more like a superhero sort of. I mean, of course, it is getting to be a superhero thing now that she has superpowers, but I don't know, it strikes me as just a different tone than just a war comic, and I'm not sure I'm a fan. There could be plenty of people who are, but for me personally, it's just a team of, like, people I've never heard of doing things that don't seem to be that big of a deal right now. Maybe it'll evolve, maybe it'll get differently. The one we haven't been introduced to, like, at all is Lady Blackhawk, and that name does ring a bell, but again, we got nothing from her this time, so I'll see where it goes. This one's probably like a 6. It's fine. It doesn't do anything offensive. The art is gritty, fits the tone, but it's still a little bit stock standard. So yeah, I'll give it a 6. I'm going to read it, clearly. It's not going to be something I'm looking forward to every week.